Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good day to each and everyone. So, let us continue our discussion for our last or for our previous discussion about our ES 12. Okay, so I think this would be the last, no, as I have said previously, this would be the last topics that we have to discuss, no, for our final coverage. Okay, so you have to study right before the final exams. So I think next week will be our final exams, no? So you may just have to refer to these manuals, no, that we have already posted. Okay, so sorry for the intervening sounds, no, na naririnig ninyo. Okay, kasi wala tayong enough na kuan or good rooms na pwede nating gawing recording room. Okay, para wala yung intervening sounds. But I think my voice naman is enough, no, to enough na para marinig natin, no. Naiintindihan naman siguro. Okay, so no need to consider about that one. Okay, so without further ado, let us proceed to our discussion. Okay, our topics for today is a continuation pa rin sa complex numbers and function or complex differentiation. So previously we have already discussed the complex numbers, no. So since complex numbers is just like a real numbers, no, it has many applications. It is also used, no, on different or variety applications na kagaya sa real numbers, no. Same with this one, no. Ina-apply din natin siya sa mga ibang applications. Okay, um, okay. So the first one here is derivative and analytic functions. Okay. Since complex numbers is also a real is a kinds of numbers, no, that has the same application with real numbers. Okay, including the derivatives, no, derivation of the kuan, derivation of the variables at the same time yung constant. Now, same with the complex number natin. Meron din tayong nangyaring derivation dyan. Okay? So, yun. So, okay. So, basahin na lang natin siya. Okay? This graph here talks about the a graph of a complex number that has, no, that has um, a graph of a complex number with respect to some point. Okay, that has a that will form a circle that has a radius of row. Okay, so as you can see here, yung z minus a natin, no, when you say z is a complex number, so we have to subtract that one with a real numbers na a, and then taking the absolute value, we have the row um, which serves as the radius of the circles that is being formed by that complex number. Okay? So yun. Same with this figure number 332. Okay? So yun. Dito tayo so basahin na lang natin yun siya. Dito tayo sa concept of sets and complex plane. Okay? Same with our real numbers, meron din tayong plane. Okay? Sa real numbers natin, meron tayong tinatawag na rectangular plane. Dito naman is meron tayong tinatawag na complex plane, no, as we have said previously sa discussion natin. Okay, so I think this is just a discussion lang naman, so basahin na lang natin to siya. This 1.2 is talks about the sets or a group of complex numbers that is related with each other. Okay? Same with our real numbers na may mga sets tayo that is related to each other, no? Na ginagawa nating mathematical expression. Same din dito sa complex number natin. Okay? So, dito tayo sa complex function. Okay, same with our real numbers, no? May function din tayo, no? Dito rin meron din. Okay? So, usually we represent a complex function with W. okay, as a function, or w or f of z as a function of z, or where z is the complex numbers. Okay? So, yun yung kuan natin. Yun yung complex function natin. For example, this one, f of z, or w is equals to f of z is equals to z squared plus 3z is a complex function because this function is expressed in terms of a complex numbers z. Okay? Where it is defined for all value of z such that its domain is a subset or set that included all value of complex numbers that is defined on this function. Okay, so yun. And of course, no, that function is can be expressed in terms of x and y. Okay, and can be reduced to a simpler form of a complex function, just like this one. We have w is equals to f of z, which is equals to u of xy plus I v of xy. Okay? So, yun yung complex function natin. So, we have here different examples about that one. So, you may just have to read it. Okay? Okay, so same with our real numbers, meron din tayong limit or continuity. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, a complex number also has also its continuity, no, kasi may it also talks about the graph, no, or the it also a complex number has also a uh, continuity continuity of domain. Okay, that is being graphed doon sa complex plane natin. Okay? So, yun. So, in order for us, syempre, lahat naman siguro ng mga function has their limit except for the function na hindi defined. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, we have to find out that limit for us to be able to find the derivation of this complex function. Okay? So, limit of the complex function is defined by this one. You have limit of f of z, where z approaches to z sub o is equals to L, where L is also a complex number. Okay? So, yan. So, number 2 naman, okay, f of z minus L, no? Where that L na limit natin would be defined with some constant epsilon, which that epsilon is less than the absolute value of f of z minus L. Okay? So, yan. So, yan yung definition ng limit or continuity natin. Okay, so yun. Or we can just substitute the value of z sub o if that z sub o is defined on the domain of the complex function. We can just substitute it to find out the limit of the limit of the complex function. Okay, that is defined by equation number 3. Okay, so yun. So ito yung graph ng limit and continuity natin. For example, this one, no, this one here can be this function here can be evaluated using this circle here, since as we have said, a function z or complex function is a graph niya usually is circle, can be evaluated using this one, then papunta dito sa limit na to. Okay, yun ibig sabihin nun. Okay, now, since derivatives has its own limit, no, same with our real numbers, so meron din tayong tinatawag na derivatives. So, we can actually derive the complex function using the same process na ina-apply natin sa real numbers. Okay, so we have here a differentiation of a function, complex function is equals to limit of f of z sub o plus change of z minus f of z sub over change of z as change of z approaches to 0. Okay, so yan yung definition ng derivatives natin. Okay, so yun. Same, actually ito siya, same with our real numbers, no? So ito rin yung definition ng derivatives. It just that papalitan natin yung z sub o ng x sub o, at saka yung change of z is magiging change of x. Okay, so yun. Okay, so we have here example number 3. So, yun, same with this one. Para tingnan na lang natin yun siya. Example number 4, madali lang din siya. Okay? So, analytic function, meron tayong definition dito. And at the same time, meron tayong basta na lang natin yung definition. No? A function f of z is said to be analytic in domain D if f of z is defined and differentiable at all points of D. So, ibig sabihin nun, if meron tayong set of all domain of a complex function, if that function is defined on all point na included doon sa domain natin, okay, and define siya doon, so therefore, it is differentiable with that domain, okay? So, yun. Yan yung definition ng analyticity. Okay? So, we have example number 5. Okay, so number 2 tayo, we have Cauchy-Riemann equation or Laplace's equation. Uh, well, basically, this equation or this Cauchy-Riemann equation only talks about this equation number 1. Okay, so, ibig sabihin lang actually itong Cauchy-Riemann equation is, if we satisfy this equation, ang mangyayari is that we can actually apply the application of Laplace to satisfy or to have the Laplace transform of the function if we can satisfy this Laplace Cauchy-Riemann equation number 1. Okay? Which is ux is equals to uy or partial derivative of u. Okay? Yung u natin is ito yan siya. Yung real numbers ng complex function natin, its partial derivative with respect to x would be equal to partial derivative of b with respect to y. Ito yung b natin. Okay, yung imaginary part ng complex function natin. Okay? So, may mga examples tayo rito and theorem. You may just have to read it. Okay, so, that's all. No? If you have any question about these topics, you may just have to ask it to me right before the final exams. Now, once again, our final exams will be next week. Okay? So, after that, inshallah, we will be having our special exams, no? For the missed na mga exams na hindi natin na-tackle or hindi natin na-complete. Okay? So, that's all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.